Well, for more on this story, please welcome to 700 Club Interactive, certified domestic violence counselor and author of The Secret Side of Anger, Janet Pfeiffer. Janet, welcome. You know, just focusing on Mel Gibson, we've got a situation where his ex-wife is saying never happened to her. He was always a good husband, and now we have with his girlfriend on these recordings. It seems like just a completely different guy than we've come to know from his public performances. Is this unusual in abuse cases to see this sort of Jekyll and Hyde that he turns?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's different reasons why he could be behaving the way he's at. When I listened to his recordings, what I heard was a man who was in a lot of pain, someone who really felt completely stressed out and felt as though he were losing control over the relationship. And so that fear and that anxiety and that pain that he was experiencing was converting itself into full-blown rage. He may not have had that kind of a relationship with his former wife. So the statements that she made about him never being violent in any way are probably true.
If the surveys are true, and I believe they are, 1 in 4 women in America is battered. At some point in her life, she will have had an abusive relationship with a physical abuse occurring in her life. For the batterer, is this learned behavior? Is this something that they can change?
Can it change? Absolutely. But that means he has to take ownership for his behavior. Tapes I've heard, he's blaming her for a lot. That doesn't work in any relationship. He has to take ownership for allowing his emotions to get to the point where he acts them out in such a violent and destructive way. So if he can take ownership and he can get with the proper professionals who can help him deal with this, he can absolutely turn things around for himself. I don't know about his career, but he can definitely make the changes within himself.
For women out there, and I guess I need to footnote that there are abused men. There are relationships where men are abused. But for anyone who's looking at a new relationships, what are the warning signs of potential abuse?
Well, definitely the controls. I was engaged to marry somebody many years ago who was violent. And initially in a relationship, it starts out, it's all wonderful, just like any other relationship. But then there were issues of control that came up. He didn't want me going out with my friends. He was monitoring my phone calls. Those are all red flags. Anytime the abuser starts telling you what to do, he would tell me what to wear. He would tell me what I was allowed to eat, what I was allowed to say. Those are all warning signs. And isolation. One of the things that an abuser does, they will isolate you from your family, from your friends, from the rest of the outside world. So those are the 3 big ones that people have to watch out for.
Well, maybe I've been watching. I don't know too many relationships where at some point in time there isn't an effort to tell you what to do.
Oh, well, you're right. But usually what happens is if the average person tells their partner what to do, they may argue about it, but there's no rage. There's no heavy-duty consequences to face if you don't abide by that person's demands.
We talk a lot about the victims, and rightly so. But what about abusers? Are there places for them to get help?
Yes, but unfortunately, there's not many. I mean, I'm here in northern New Jersey. I actually run a support group called the Antidote to Anger. And I get a lot of court-ordered individuals who come through the court system that are required to take anger management. And some of these are men from domestic violence. And if they stick with me long enough, they can definitely make the changes. But you have to look, it's not easy to find the professional help that you need if you're the abuser.
All right, Janet. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. If you'd like to get more information about Janet and her book, The Secret Side of Anger, all you have to do is just go to cbn.com. And Janet, thank you again for being with us.
My pleasure.
All right.